all good. First off, we have Chris Earl Grey as Percival Frederickstein von Kowalski Rollo III from Critical Role. The costume is entirely made by them and took many hours to complete. Natural and synthetic materials were used to highlight details and bring the character to life. The look of battle damage and frequent wear was especially important for them to achieve. Their favorite thing are definitely the guns and the gauntlet, which also were the hardest to construct.
And next up we have Gigi Ablas and Rin Grin from World of Warcraft Legion. The jacket and the vest are made of wool, the belt, gloves and boots out of faux leather. A basting stitch has been run through all the golden edges as well as the edges along the lighter blue fabrics. Although this was her first time working with foam and creating armor, which she is very proud of, you should be, Gigi is most fond of the jacket, which includes many sewing techniques and every golden ornament cut, folded and placed by hand. Even the buttons are handmade using warbler. The lion head has first been made with clay, then warbler has been heated and formed on top of it. The sash is decorated in goldwork embroidery, which has taken Gigi around 10 hours alone to make, and that may or may not be felt in her wrist even today. Give it up.
Okay, and then we have Luina Sensei as Nosumi from Love Live School Idol Project. Luina is portraying one of her favorite characters from Love Live School of Idol Project. Nosumi Toju in her Sunny Day song outfit. The costume debuted in 2017 as a part of the opening show of DCC. It took about 2 to 3 weeks of intense sewing to finish the costume. There was a lot of frustration involved, but everything worked out just fine in the end. She is especially proud of the vest top, all the details, and the fitted shape turned out really well in her opinion. She also feels proud about the styling of her wig and the headpiece, although styling the wig did give her a bit of a headache. She spent a lot of time on every little detail in the costume and even made the earrings. Creating the boots and fitted the cover meticulously did test her patience once or twice, but she eventually made peace with them. All in all, she's really proud of the final result and happy to share it with you.
And next on the stage we have Smithgard cosplay as Chaplain Lemartis from Warhammer 40k. Space Marine has been a long way to get here, and he has been on this stage once before. It has seen a lot of new modifications and improvements since then. He has designed a large amount of 3D parts himself, such as an underarmament for attachment, joint covers, and some 3D printed parts for the backpack, hand handles, and small parts around the armor. Overall, the finished product is much more stable and easy to wear and put on for once. Amazing.
Cosplay isn't always the easiest thing. Next up, we have Cassia cosplay as Roxanne Wolf from Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. Katrina started this project right after seeing Security Breach and falling in love with her guitar. The guitar is made from EVA foam and painted with acrylic paint. All the black vinyl has been hand cut and heat ironed on. This process took over 30 hours to complete. The wig has been crimped and styled into shape, another process that took ridiculously long to complete. The paws are a shoe cover with bear stuffing in the front to create the paw-like silhouette. Wow.
And next up we have Shelina Kars as Elisha from Honkai. The goal with this cosplay was to challenge herself in using different types of crafting. So depending on what part of the cosplay would benefit from it, she used Warbler, 3D print, EVA foam and resin. The 3D print was modeled by herself, usually spending hours staring at the details drawn in Fusion 360, and the reference pics and the resin mold as well. The dream was to make it as flowy and light as the original design. For example, with the thigh part, she would use clear warbler to make it almost like crystals and model it after her own body. The cosplay itself was a mix between faux leather and organza to emphasize that the character is almost angelic, but still a warrior, a herrscher.
And then we have Elenial cosplay as Lilouch Lamperouche from Code Geass. This cosplayer has spent hours on hand cutting and top stitching lots and lots of gold applique, carefully lined every garment, as well as figured out how to make her cape color defy gravity. This is not to mention the multiple mock-ups to ensure a perfect fit. Not all layers of the costume are visible from the outside, but a perfectly tailored undershirt is also worn underneath the suit. Despite not being clearly visible, the cosplayer has aimed for complete accuracy and spent hours on even the barely visible details of the costume to properly bring this character to life.
And then we have Safi Ko as Ritsu Sakuma from Ensemble Stars. To start with, he made the pattern for the jacket, then stiffened out the side. He made it double layered, plus filling it with a stiff piece of fabric for the middle to make it hold its shape. The 8 golden rope bows down the jacket is folded and stitched on. He dedicated a lot of hours since it was all done by hand. For the pants, he added the golden ribbon along the pocket lines when making the pockets. To make the pants stand out even more, he added satin ribbons to give it the strap effect. He wanted to make the microphone too, so by a piece of round foam, he covered it with warbler and painted the rest until satisfied. Thank you so much.
And then we have Tiami's cosplay as Sophie from Howl's Moving Castle. When making this cosplay, it was important for Tiamis to try and fit the time area in which the movie takes inspiration. Therefore, the cosplay is made of linen and cotton fabrics. The petticoat is decorated with a lace, which she has crocheted herself. All the patterns are self-drafted. The wig was bought as a long one and then cut and styled.
And then we have Higert the Dirt as Yu Watanabe from Love Live. This cosplay was made using regular clothes as mock-up patterning and different types of fabric that will blend into a steampunky setting. Many of the golden details, such as studs, earrings, and gears, are made of resin, and the details inside the gears glow in the dark. Oh. The shoes and goggles were upcycled using materials such as warbler, packaging plastic, and craft foam leftovers. Recycled.
And then we have Trine KN as Bloodhound from Apex Legends. Trine decided to make the mask first, which she sculpted in monster clay. With the clay model, she made a mold in silicone and cast it in resin. She added LEDs to the eyes and jetpack as well as smoke. And yes, she is blind with the lights on. All the clothes are sewn by her, and the little electronics box on the arm was 3D modeled and printed on a 3D printer. The weapon is made entirely from foam, but the scope and the Nessie charm are 3D printed.
Last but definitely not least, we have Tsinya Su as Yoshiwara Anri from Adicon. Blood, sweat, and tears have gone into the making of this cosplay. The sweat was provided when the fake leather for the leg parts were fitted, and the blood was drawn as a result of a nasty burn by the heat gun while the warbler armor pieces were made. The tears were spilled as the color with hand embroidery, and all took a dive down into a glass of Pepsi Max. Highly unfortunate. Regardless of these unfortunate events, he enjoyed the crafting process a lot.